Hey everyone, this is Lukas Schwegendijk, and today I want to talk to you about ignoring the voices in your head, specifically the buts, ifs, ands. All of these things that tell you shouldn't do something, or that this might not be the right idea, that this is a scary thing to do, or what have you. Um, a lot of the times when it comes to decision making, we want to make a decision, and then after that initial decision or an initial choice, there comes an explanation, a reasoning. I want to do this, but I want to do this because I want to do this, however. Right? It's all of these extra things that then get added on, and that then usually create a scene for you. I want to do this, but I don't feel like my life is at a point where I can do this right now. I want to do this because I feel like this is a good thing to do right now, even if it's not good long term. I want to do this, and that seems like usually good choice, but right now, I don't know. There's just more to it that explains or justifies it, or justifies the opposite. The point to these extra add-ons is that they're not necessary. If you want to do X, and you can put a stop there. You can end the sentence there, you don't have to explain it. We often feel the need to explain this because we feel like there's someone watching over our shoulder, right? There's someone here, someone looking at everything that we're doing. But that's not true. There's no one there. Right? Just there's no one watching us. Right now you're watching me, but other than that, I'm all alone over here. So in this very moment, right, there's no one watching you right now, either, probably. You're not being watched. You don't have to justify your actions because no one sees those actions and no one sees your reasoning. If you want to do something, you can do it just because you want to. And if you think something is good, you can do it just because you think it's good. You don't need to have an extra justification for doing certain things. If you want to eat that piece of chocolate cake, then go eat that piece of chocolate cake. If you want to do it, you want to do it. You can ignore the buts, the becauses, the ifs, the howevers, whatever comes out of that. Stop justifying it. Stop justifying your own internal desires to yourself. However, here I go with the extra add-on. However, that doesn't mean that this has to follow action. Basically, what I'm trying to get you to understand is acceptance. I want X can stand alone because that is a sentence. That is what the truth is. You want this. However, you start to devalue it if you add anything onto it. I want that piece of chocolate cake, but I've already eaten way too much, so I shouldn't want it. That makes you feel dirty. That makes you feel like you're doing something wrong. But wanting something, like that initial sentence is not wrong. There's no right or wrong with it. It's just what's coming up from inside. I want to eat a piece of chocolate cake. You know what? I want to eat a piece of chocolate cake right now. Doesn't mean I'm going to go out and get one. But lying to myself about what I want is pointless because it makes me address the wrong issues. When it comes to something, let's say you worked an 8-hour day and I just want to relax, but I need to spend time with my family, things like that. You can have I want to relax, stand alone, and then as a separate standalone point, say I need to spend time with my family. You could combine those. But if you combine them with I want to relax, but I have to spend time with my family, both get tarnished. And you don't get to do what you enjoy, and instead have to do something with your family. That pulls down the fact that you actually probably want to spend time with your family, pulls it down to this murky thing that doesn't allow you to do what you want to do, and it also, in the same notion, limits the fact that you cannot do what you want to do, when in fact neither of those is true. You could absolutely do what you want to do and spend time with your family. Maybe you can combine them and do something you want to do with your family. Right? But as soon as you start justifying it to yourself, you remove that option. You basically pull both down and settle for something less. And that's unfortunate. You're not being honest with yourself. You're not feeling what's inside. You're not addressing it. You're not accepting it. And instead leaning towards what that person behind you that doesn't exist tells you should or should not do. And that's what comes up with these buts and becauses. These ands, these howevers, these justifications. In the same way, when you're trying to work harder, you might come across these justifications too. I really should do more today, but I'd rather watch some TV. I really want to work harder, but I don't feel like it right now, so maybe I'll do it tomorrow. There's so many of these justifications that come up all the time throughout life, and it's a lack of acceptance of what's going on inside of us, and then a lack of taking responsibility for the action. We're basically blaming this invisible person behind us for forcing us to make this justification and then go for the action that we don't want to take. Why? Why do you do that? Why do we do that? Why don't you just own up to what you feel? And then own up to either choosing to go for what you feel or choosing not to go for what you feel. Why don't you own up to the choice? Why can't we just say, I want to eat chocolate cake, but I'm not going to go get it? Well, actually, that's a justification too. Why don't we just say, I want a piece of chocolate cake and leave it there? And then separately decide, take responsibility for the decision, and make a choice. You can see how hard this is because I just slipped into it. But making sure that you leave the things that you want to do or the things that you need to do separate from the feelings, from what you feel like doing. Try to end more sentences more quickly and stop listening to those voices that try to justify this one way or the other. You don't need to justify. You don't need to justify your feelings to anyone, and you don't need to justify your actions to anyone. Not even to yourself. You can just feel what you feel and do what you want to do. Or what you don't want to do. When it comes to success, or to productivity, or to getting more out of life, we do this too. But we justify our way out of taking action, or out of knowing what to do. Most of the time, you already know exactly what the best thing to do is. In fact, if I asked you right now, what is the one thing that you can do today that would change your life? If you really thought about it, you could probably come up with something. But you don't do it. Because there's these justifications. It's too scary. It'll never work. Yeah, I'm not strong enough. I don't know how to do this. There's all of these complaints. I want you to ignore those complaints. Leave the sentence after what you need to do or what you want to do. A trick for this, at least when it comes to negative justifications, is to use a really annoying voice for it. My personal favorite is Eric Cartman from South Park. If you've seen it, I cannot take that character seriously, or that voice actor. It's something where you just laugh about it. For instance, I should email this really important CEO, but I don't feel like I'm cut out for it. Now, if I repeat that second part with Eric Cartman's voice, and I'm going to be horrible at an impression, but I should really email that CEO. I don't feel like I'm cut out for it. It just loses all seriousness. That complaint loses all power because you can't take it seriously. And that's what most thoughts are. They're just random complaints, or random thoughts, or random justifications that you don't have to take seriously. We just have grown accustomed to accepting them right away when we don't need to. And to get rid of that, just do it anyway. Do what you need to do. You know what's best for you. Stop trying to make it better, or sound worse, and just do it. Do it anyway. Don't listen to the justification. So what? So what if you're not cut out for it? So what if you're not courageous enough? So what if this is not going to be fun for a while? You want to do it, right? Well, you need to do it. So do it. Stop wasting time. Stop trying to justify yourself to yourself. Listen in, and then do what you need to do. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.